Hold on for a second. What's up, YouTube family? I would like you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our video. It would help us get into the algorithms so we can be seen and bring more engaging content to you guys. So, like I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zhu and Peeblish. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Full fantasy swing over here. White Sox on a 4-game winning streak. Unbelievable, man. Going from worst to third worst in the MLB, man. It's called improvement, gentlemen. That's all we want to see out of the Bulls, hopefully, this next year, man. Slowly improving their teams. But right now, man, I'm all in on the Bears. That is my team right now. Watching the training camp videos, Caleb Williams press conferences. Give me that 4,000-yard passer, man. First one in Bears history. So sad, I know.
Wild.
Absolutely, man. For me, sports right now is on the pause. The only thing I'm looking at is fantasy now. Only thing I'm looking at, everybody out, baseball, whatever ball. I'm looking at football right now. I'm definitely looking at football. I'm looking at the yards projections, man. I'm looking at the rookies now because get a feel about all these rookies. There's always a couple of superstars that come up, especially the last couple of years. There's always been a couple league winners. So it's been good to look at some of the numbers right now. Got to regroup because last year, not going to lie, took a lot of L's last year. Took a lot of L's. It hurt last year. Back with the vengeance this year, man. Back with the vengeance.
Love to hear it. No comment. No comment, Sean. I'm not saying anything.
If you've been a watcher of this pod, you kind of know the history of the trades and the things that happened to conspire with Zhu and Peeblish. But speaking about the running backs, man, it is we were talking before the pod. Nice crop that we have every year, but I guess you could say it gets dark early. And if you're not on your game, you might end up drafting a lot of flexes or having a bunch of guys who are bench worthy as in starting positions. So people, I want to kind of get it started with you is who are some of the guys who you think will outperform their ADP at the running back position?
I mean, I think we were talking about him beforehand. I'll just briefly say I think Omarion Hampton's going to be a beast, purely because of one Najee injury. They say he's probably going to be fine by the time the training camp or by the time the season comes around. But Omarion's getting all the first team reps during training camp. That's huge for a rookie that he's actually getting into a Harbaugh run first offense with a quarterback that is still deadly enough to make defenses respect the pass game. I think that's just a beautiful combination. He might be overdrafted in your league, so I can't say that I think he'll outperform his ADP, but based on where you draft him and you take that as his ADP, I think he'll probably be around that, potential top 12 running back, probably more on the back end. But I like him. But, man, I got to go with the hometown guy, man. I got to go with DeAndre Swift. I mean, look, he's going around 50 to 55 to 60 in most drafts. You're talking about him potentially going in round 5, round 6. And for me, I think the thing is it's all in your strategy. If you're going RB early and you can make DeAndre Swift your RB3, I think that might be one of the best RB3s that you could get in and around that. You're talking about the Tony Pollards are around him. I think Caleb Johnson, a good rookie who I do like, but he's apparently going to be severely splitting time with Jaylen Warren per reports. We won't know until we see some game action. But DeAndre Swift, man, his best season was with Ben Johnson. I think, I know he had a good year with the Eagles, but you're talking about yards per carry was with Ben Johnson, man. He knows how to use his running backs. I'm not comparing him to Jahmyr Gibbs on a talent level. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs is leagues beyond him. But you got to also take into account that the Bears, they immensely improved their interior offensive line. That is the thing that DeAndre Swift could not get going at all last year, was running in between the tackles. The Bears had zero blocking, none at all. Well, they pretty much shored that up with 2 signings and a trade. Right. And they have an all-pro. They have a Pro Bowl center, and all-pro being Joe Thuney. And then I like the Jonah Jackson signing, and I really like their tackles. They drafted Ozzie Trapillo, who's going to fight with Braxton Jones. They've improved to probably a top 10, top 11 offensive line. And that's only going to help guys like Swift. I don't want to hear the Kyle Monangai stuff. He's a 7th-round running back that was drafted by the Bears, man. He might have a little gadget guy here.
Johnson.
Roshan Johnson, he's the one to consider about. But people have been talking more about Monangai than Roshan Johnson.
Because he's the new.
You guys know I love me some Roshan, man. I had him in Dynasty. Unfortunately, I lose him this year, but he might take some of the goal line carries. But I'm just thinking more on DeAndre. If you can have him in your flex, like Zoo and I are in our league, it's a double flex league. If one of those two spots can be DeAndre Swift, and then you pair him up with a nice maybe 7th-round wide receiver, I'm totally fine with that. If you take 2 studs as your RB1 and RB2, I think he'll outperform his ADP. He's like RB22 right now. I could easily see him being top 17.
Yeah,
he's always outperformed his ADP.
He can be top 15.
5 years in a row, he's outperformed his ADP quietly.
Yeah, I do remember 2 years ago on the Eagles. That's when he was like, "Oh, this guy's got a low juice," but a lot of the offensive line. You saw when he gets a good offensive line, he could be a very productive running back. Because I don't think he's that good. I think he could be productive, but I don't think he's that.
No, he's not a stud, but he's productive.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe Ben Johnson. You got guys have an offensive guy now, right?
And he runs good routes.
He's supposed to be that coach. Okay.
He runs good routes too, Zoo. Last year, he made some great catches with Caleb Williams last year.
Yeah, as a pass catching back?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. You kind of tease my guy, Mr. Hampton. Because I'm telling you right now, as the rookie running back right now, I'm telling you, I wouldn't surprise him as the best rookie running back in the fantasy season.
He's a beast.
I know. I'm Mr. Genty, Mr. Boise State. This guy's consensus probably he's a top 10 pick, maybe 11 or 12.
Genty's been going high. Yeah.
Genty's value is built in. Like this guy's they're projecting to be a superstar, but I'm like, I'm not so sure relative to Hampton at his price right now. If you look at the situation, you mentioned the Harbaugh offense, his history with the 49ers, with the Frank Gore, like he guy's a big bruiser, just running in, right? And you saw what he did with J.K. Dobbins off of catastrophic injury, and he had a career season until he got injured. And you briefly mentioned Najee Harris. He's already injured. I'm scratching him off of my draft. No, Najee is gone. It's his time to ride now because you're using a first-round draft. You're using a first-round draft capital on this guy. So you may know the history of first-round draft picks. And if you look at this guy, he's built like a 3-down back. 6 foot, 200-plus pounds, built like a monster truck, man. Kind of looks like a little Monty, David Montgomery, like the build, like the body-wise. He built like that. So he looks like he could withstand the brutality of the NFL season. So you cut that in a Harbaugh offense, and I think I'm projecting as a good offense with, I believe, a top 10 offensive line.
Yep.
Like you got Slater and all. You got some good linemen, left tackle, like the rookie or the previous rookie. Like they got some linemen there, so they're in the trenches. So you got a situation with a coach that's going to prioritize you. You got the draft capital on you, so they're going to prioritize you too. You got a good offense. You got a good quarterback, good coach. Jesus Christ, like this guy after this year, he might be a 2nd-round pick next year. I think
Josh Jacobs-ish in my opinion.
Yeah, he kind of looked like him too. Like he just in that situation where I think he's in a perfect situation for him because I don't think he's a guy that could thrive in any type of offense. Like I'm not too much of a rookie expert from college, but if you look at his prototype and the situation he's in, like if he doesn't have success, I don't know what happened. Like he probably got injured because outside the injuries, like you getting a young 22 rookie stud in this situation. Dude, I see double digit touchdowns easily for this guy.
I like it. I just think people are going to overdraft him. I think that's the issue.
But I don't think he's going to hit that 2nd rounder. Like I feel like you get him in the 3rd round, 4th round.
Would you take him over Kenneth Walker or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown and that Cincy offense is kind of nice too. So that one I have to think a little because the Cincinnati offense is ridiculous with Joe Burrow, and they're going to have to score a lot. That gave me some pause. I'm still kind of leaning the rookie. Kind of leaning the rookie because of the prototype of his body. But I'm just looking at great offensive line, great quarterback, coach, draft capital. Like everything's lining up for this guy to become the stud, the guy this year. If you look at Genty in that situation, I'm not taking that Raiders situation over that Chargers situation.
I agree.
So I'm telling you, that rookie running back, I'm taking this guy later, man, because this kind of low key reminds me of the Brian Thomas Jr. last year, man. Like I just remember
He went late though.
Yeah, I know he went a little later, but it's
Yeah.
kind of the similar situation. I'm like looking at, I know he got all the tools and stuff. I'm like, he going a little later than I thought because if he's late third round, early fourth round, ooh, that's some insane value for him.
I'm with you if he's that.
Value.
He might go. I'm starting to think by the time we for real draft, he's probably going to be going late second because of the hype.
Really?
Early third.
I think so. Yeah, I think he
Really?
might go. He might go ahead of guys that like my sleeper, who I think is going to outperform my guy or outperform this guy is Chuba Hubbard. I think he'll go before him. And I think if you just look at Chuba Hubbard on the hoof, like looking at his stats, 1,100 yards, 10 TDs, and he had 43 catches, which I didn't even know he had that many catches because I just don't remember a lot of him catching out the backfield, considering, Carolina's a local team. But I look at Chuba and I'm like, okay, he obviously got the money, signifying like, okay, you're our kind of not bell cow, but you're the guy who we're going to give the most carries to. Also, I look at situation like Rico Dowdle. He could definitely challenge. He could take away some snaps, but I don't look at Rico as like, he's a guy that's going to come in and, it's a split backfield. So that's one thing working to his advantage. Also, too, man, like, am I saying Bryce is going to be this, verge top 15, flirting with top 10 type quarterback? No, but I think he's going to be pretty good, and he's got a lot of different weapons at receiver. And when I think about that, I'm like, his weaponry on the outside is going to be able to open up different types of things for Chuba. So, obviously he would be a perfect situation. Like he's like an RB2.
Yeah.
But I think there's a possibility, and I think his ranking was right around like 18. Like he's kind of in that same area with Omarion. Like, yeah, I'm looking now. This is obviously Fantasy Pros, but like Joe Mixon, Chuba Hubbard, Omarion Hampton, they're kind of in that same, I would say, like, I guess, ranking. But I'm looking at situation like, I think Chuba could definitely get to a situation where he's an RB2 and could finish just off of volume and make it into an RB1 discussion. Now, do I think he's going to be a high-end RB1? No. But I also think he's going to be pretty close to flirting with it just because of touches. And I think he's just been good when he's had opportunity. So
I love him, man. He's my dynasty guy. He's my dynasty guy, man.
I like him a lot.
I think they have Omarion ahead of him on ESPN ADP. Yeah. I'm 90% sure. Chuba's right around, he's kind of in that like James Conner category a little bit, where you pretty much know what you're going to get with him. You're probably going to get, 13 to 16 points a game, right? 90 yards and a touchdown. You need those guys, man. They're just better versions of a Brian Robinson Jr. It's just that Chuba has the receiving ability, as does James Conner. Not that Brian Robinson doesn't, but no, Chuba. I think here's the thing about Chuba. I think he's fair with his ADP. I think that's how I've landed on him, and I agree that I would put James Conner in that same situation. It's actually really hard, I think, this year to find value at running back, unless you're taking a handcuff like a Tyjae Spears.
That's really it. Yeah,
like Tyjae Spears, Jordan Mason's, the Brian Robinson Jr.,
Trey Benson,
Cam Scatterbo, to Tyrone Tracy's, right? Like those are the guys you're going to have to get lucky on one of those, handful. All the other guys, they're going to be at their ADP and above it when they're actually drafted, I think, by the time the season rolls around.
And you kind of still like go ahead.
Yeah, I think like just narratively wise, I think there's going to be an overcorrection from last year. Because a lot of last year, a lot of the discussion was zero RB, wide receivers have taken over. They're the most valuable position. And then we saw what happened last year. All the top, outside like Jamar Chase, everybody else was running backs. Mm-hmm. So I feel like narratively this year, people are going to overdraft just based on the previous season. And so all these RBs are going to get pushed up, hoping to get these guys in. I think RB, historic in fantasy football, has been the most important position for a reason. Like, it's for a reason. These are the guys that get 20 plus points a game. Like, these are the guys who can carry you in a season. Easy production to predict game after game. Consistency. Pretty much have higher floors. The receivers obviously have the upside if they drop the 30-point games, but running backs can drop you that 20 to 24 a game. Like, those are the consistencies week over week helps you make the playoffs. So I think narratively from last year to this year, I think this would be an overcorrection where guys are going to be going up. So I was like, oh, shoot, this guy, like James Conner, usually you get him in the 6th round. This year, you might go up the 5th, 4th round. Now, like, you never know. Like, people are going to overcorrect based on the previous year's production.
And it's the mentality of being in a draft, right, and seeing someone reach for a running back and then being like, It's like the QB, Sean. You've mentioned this multiple times. Someone reaches on a QB, the next 6 picks, 4 of them are quarterbacks, right? It's going to be that. So, I mean, yeah, Zoo, you're right. It's, at this point, the only thing that shifted in fantasy football in the last 10 years, it's always been running backs, but now you also just need to add in a rushing quarterback into that. You don't have one of those.
That's the new wave,
That's the big thing. And we talked about that last week. We know the big ones, right? And they're all going to, like Josh Allen, he'll be gone in the early third, probably. I've been reaching for him a couple times in early to mid third, and he's usually there, but they're gone like that. And
Josh especially, dude, like and of course I've been doing 14, like he's been getting reached every time, every 14 team. Now in the 10 team and 12 team, he's been going like beginning of third, late second maybe, but in most he's been getting reached.
Yep.
Yeah. In some of those. So people, I think with Josh, Jalen's kind of he's
falling,
dropping down a little bit. It's not massive, but it's dropping down a little bit. But Josh is still getting reached. My point is he's being reached in any 14, 12, 10, he's getting reached on. And it's because we just talked about with RBs, it's the rushing fact. Like, that's why with receiver, even though it was trendy to have them wherever they were and overdrafting some, they still don't have like the duality of they can catch and also rush. Like there's different ways to score. And I think just with the quarterback, because the reason why I was always high on the running quarterback and why I always try to find the next one is because you still can't factor in. Now Jalen Hurts is kind of a cheat code because he does the tush push stuff, but like outside of that, like regular quarterbacks who are just rushing around and getting rushing yards, when you have the ball in your hand that many times, to me that just makes you ultra valuable. Like, especially if you can run. Because at any moment, depending on your athleticism, you can score from, like Josh can score from anywhere on the field. Lamar, I think, still can score from anywhere on the field. Like Jaden Daniels can kind of score from anywhere on the field. Like, there's certain guys who, if they have that ability, you might need to reach on him because
Justin Fields.
It's just kind of Fields is another one. He can score from anywhere on the field. Probably the best at scoring from anywhere on the field.
Don't worry, Zoo. That was both of our outperforming ADP.
Yeah, that's all good, man. You guys took all the words right out of my mouth then.
There you go.
So, that's definitely a conversation and something that people look into for sure. But going on, speaking of like high class running backs, we just spoke with this guy, Ashton Genty. He's the bell cow and the guy that people were talking about going into the draft. When he got drafted, his situation, and there's a lot of hype for him. Like I said, he's been getting, I wouldn't say overdrafted, but he's getting drafted really, really high. And on comparison, another guy, Devon Achane, who is kind of assuming the bell cow responsibilities with Miami and that explosive offense over there. So I just thought these two guys were interesting, mainly because their ADPs, to my surprise, were that close. So I kind of wanted to get the guys' opinions on, if you're, I don't know where you'd be drafting at, but if you have the ability to draft both of them, who would you draft, Achane or Genty? And Zoo, I'll let you go ahead and attack this one first.
Because this is no situation that's a real world example if you go late.
Yep.
If you get that 10, 11 turn, 9, 12 turn, like this is where you can't be missing up these two picks right now because you might have the opportunity to get both of them. So,
which would be insane.
Yeah. So pretty much you can go and they're both in that prototype. These are young running backs in offenses where I got some question marks. That's all I got to say. I got some question marks right now. But for me personally, if I'm looking at these two guys on the board, I'm still going to lean Genty over Achane. And, like, I remember last year, I was a massive Achane guy. Like, I call him the A-Train, man, because that dude just fast. That dude is speedy. But the Tua factor scared. Like, maybe I am mentally scarred from last year of watching Miami Dolphins offense without quarterback. Because based on him leaving the roster, he looks like the most valuable player in the NFL. Because I could not watch that team play. And surprisingly, like I thought the running game would still be like kind of productive. No, because even those like little dink and dunk passes, Tua is like very, very like his timing for the dink and dunk passes. He is actually really, really good. I appreciated that because you got to have good timing of creating, getting your pretty much passing your running backs open in situations where they can succeed. And Achane's one of the fastest guys on the field, so you pretty much Achane kind of is a de facto running back receiver. So he needs a good quarterback to be productive because they had Achane lining out as receiver. Like even the way he looks, he kind of does look like a receiver because he's a smaller body, smaller frame, and everything. Like his helmet makes him look like a little baby out there because he wears the little protective helmet.
Yeah.
So like Achane's a very interesting. A-Chain is a very interesting running back because it was a receiving ability where that's where you get the PPR points, man. But for me personally, like at that situation, not gonna lie, if Genti is there, I'm probably leaning someone else.
I agree.
That's the thing. I would probably be leaning someone else. I'm
CMC?
CMC is on my.
You can have them.
Yeah, CMC
You can have them.
CMC is on my do not draft list in the first round. In the first
Facts.
round is my like if I get CMC second round, if he gets injured first round, I might. That is still salvageable. That is salvageable as a second round. But first round, I'm out on that. But if I see like a Sun God there, if I see a Sun God, if I see a King Henry,
he'll be there.
I'm taking those two guys over.
You're reaching on Henry?
Yeah,
I'll take JT.
Yep, I'm taking King
Jonathan
Henry.
Taylor?
Over
I'm taking Jonathan Taylor over
King Henry.
Henry?
All of them. Yeah.
Interesting. Nah,
Genti, McCaffrey, and Henry.
I got that quarterback situation also scares me.
Exactly, and he still put up 1,400 and 8 touchdowns last year.
He was very productive. But I'm taking King Henry. I'm taking a guy who has ability to get 30 points in a game, and his floor is ridiculous.
Yeah,
of his rushing touchdown.
You could get both. You could just reach on both.
Derrick Henry.
And JT, if you had a turn pick, you could just go with both of those.
You could just go double RBs just to solidify that position because after that, 30s plus, like there's going to probably be
if we're
a low drop off.
If we're involving JT and Derrick Henry, well then, I would pick one of those two and then one of these two guys. I wouldn't double draft those guys if we're including those. I wouldn't just if all those guys on the board. I'm picking one of JT Henry and then one of A-Chain or Genti because I just want to upside versus improve it.
Yeah, but I think for me, like A-Chain as a second round pick, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. As an RB because you making your RB2 or your RB1, like he's pretty versatile. You go receiver, A-Chain, or go double up because even in that situation, I probably go double up just because I'm just a little nervous at the Tua factor because who knows? Like who really knows?
Which is
legitimate for multiple seasons now. It's not just 1 year. It's multiple years.
And Zhu, you made a point. You're like, even when Tua was out, you thought they were going to use the running game more. It was going to be productive. I didn't know that they actually have the second worst rated offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
The Raiders are 20th out of 32, right? So bottom third-ish, right? So, you take that out because that's how I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, both offenses, right? Let's just say they're both completely healthy. Now, you're pretty much saying that you believe in, like, Geno Smith over Tua.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't like Geno. I've told you that I'm not a Geno guy.
I know, but
I think Geno stays pretty healthy. That's the thing.
He does stay healthy.
He stays healthy, and he does have some passing yards. He is a middling quarterback. But
I agree.
If he's out, it's an abomination in Miami. The offense, creativity in the offense, I feel like defenses have caught up to that type of offense.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Darren Waller might eat into A-Chain's receiving, man. Who knows? But on this one, this is a coin flip for me, honestly, straight up, because you have the uncertainty of Tua, but you have the uncertainty of Genti. He's a rookie. Like, it is possible that he ends up being more of a third round running back or a second round running back than being a top 10 pick.
I got a question. For you.
Yeah.
Do you think he has you got only two choices right here. Do you have him better odds of being the next Saquon Barkley or better odds of being the next CEH?
Who's CEH? Clyde
Edwards-Helaire. The last time I remember a stud or first round running back.
Clyde Edwards.
Saquon.
So that's the question right there. That's the question right
Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't have – y'all know how I know Genti's a small back, but he's got giddy up. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was just short and not fast. And you know how – it's like JK rule. Like, they're good runners, but I don't like guys who are 5'8", 5'9", and they run like a 4'5", 4'6". Like, you need to be explosive at that.
And he is explosive. Yeah.
Genti is super explosive.
He's an inch shorter than A-Chain, funny enough. But he's got 25 pounds on him. Yeah. Right. So to your point too about Amari and Hampton, he's built for the NFL season. Genti is more built for the NFL season than A-Chain. But A-Chain played all 17 games last year. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not like he's maybe it's the helmet, man.
A-Chain is not small either. Like I've seen he's like
big, 190, 5'8", 190. Like for that height, that's a good size, right? And But for me, I think it's just the upside of the two teams. I'm taking A-Chain, man, because if that offense ends up start clicking, and you got to remember, you put Darren Waller in there, taking out one of the top targeted dudes on the team in Jonnu Smith and trading him away
It
to
was very
Pittsburgh.
productive.
Very productive. You're opening up another one. I know some people are high on Waddle this year. Some people think Tyreek's going to have a bounce back year. Who's the one that is arguably the most consistent? It's been Devon A-Chain. So I'm going to lean him. To your guys, both your point. If I'm doing it and I have the 10th pick in the draft, I'm passing on Amon-Ra and I'm passing on Malik Neighbors. I'm taking A-Chain and then I'm taking Henry on that turn. So Henry or JT, just depending on how people are drafting. McCaffrey is especially one that could be falling back, right? Yep. Some people might pass on those two wide receivers I just mentioned too and reach for a King Henry or a JT. Nico Collins also in that conversation as well. So the way it plays out, it's going to be very interesting, but I'm going to lean A-Chain here. I just think when that offense is clicking, it's at a much higher caliber than I think the Raiders could reach, even with Brock Bowers. And I love me some Jacoby Myers too, but I just think their ceiling is a little bit lower.
I'm with you. I'm gonna go A-Chain. I can hear the arguments with Genty just because you got to remember Pete Carroll's back and how we were just talking about with Harbaugh and Amari and Hampton. I do think Carroll's going to kind of look at this situation as, oh, I have a fresh out of college back. Let's give him 25 to 30 carries. Like I could see that being like his version of how he had Marshawn, just keep feeding the beast unless you're on the goal line and you have Russell Wilson and it's the Super Bowl and you do a slant play. But like they kind of really did feed into Marshawn being their bell cow. So I could see a possible role like that with Genty. So I'm not mad at that. But to your point, Peebush, like Jonnu Smith being gone, I feel like that's more targets for A-Chain. I honestly, I think saw the stat, and I think I wrote it down where even without Tua, he was averaging 17.6, which is pretty good. Like that's like RB2 kind of territory, and 22.6 with Tua. So to me, that 22.6, do I think that's repeatable this year? No, because I do think the passing game is going to, if Tua is healthy, of course, I think the passing game is going to kind of take over with Waddle and Tyreek. I think they're going to bounce back. But I do think it's a possibility that he becomes more targeted on like swing routes, shots at the backfield, even being split out, little screen type plays and stuff. I think he's just going to be more of a target share because it's not to say Genty can't catch the ball, but I don't think that's like his super strength. And I know that's a super strength for A-Chain. And usually those type of backs, like an Alvin Kamara guy, where he's basically a natural receiver out of the backfield, those are just guys who are more valuable in my eyes. And two, dude, he had a 51-point game. Do I think that is repeatable? No. But to know you've done that before, that's just going to make me lean your way because that means you got it in you. It's like the guy who went out and scored 60 in the game. It's like, well, he averages 18. Yeah, but he scored 60 in the game. So that means at any point he could go off. Yeah. He could go off. So it's like I look at A-Chain, it's like, he has the ability with his catching ability and his running ability. He could be a bell cow. And to your point, he didn't get injured, which is impressive with him being 5'9", 195, whatever he is. So am I like this Mike McDaniel truther? No. But I do think he knows offense, and I think A-Chain's going to be able to produce. So it's really close. I mean, both are RB1s. Now, to you guys' point, yeah, if Genty, A-Chain, Henry, JT's there, I'm going to definitely draft A-Chain, but it's going to be a hard process, and I'm going to have to sit there and take the 30-second allotment or whatever allotment you get and really decide between Derrick Henry and JT because that's, you really can't go wrong with either. I mean, I probably would pick JT, but like I said,
remember,
Derrick
McCaffrey
Henry
will probably fall to that discussion as well.
Yeah.
So if you get A-Chain,
I think somebody's going to reach on him, though. I think somebody reaches on
McCaffrey and McCaffrey falls to the turn.
Somebody, but the thing is, I'm not dealing with. I'm with you. I'm not touching him in the first round, and I don't know where I'd be picking in the second, but like, it better not be a bona fide superstar there, because if it is, I'm taking him over McCaffrey. I don't like. We know this for running backs, man. When they get older,
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, I would take Christian, but it's just like I would think about it though. I would think about it because AJ is a bona fide number one, and Jalen loves AJ. So like, it's just weird with running back because I know guys get injured and they can bounce back, but it's
CMC is the guy he's missed multiple seasons,
even when he was healthy.
Yeah, like I remember when he first started his career, 16 games, 16 games, 16 games. This guy was indestructible. And then he had back-to-back seasons of just missing games.
Like, where's his
Like,
ADP?
yeah, like his ADP is around the 8th pick right now. So
Yeah.
he's at a late first round. So like I'm not gonna take him, but I feel like if you take him, he might take a swing at it. Because if he's healthy, he's awesome. But
and that's the thing I think he smartly played it safe last year because that calf injury, we just watched it in the NBA. All those dudes had some calf issues, and they end up tearing their Achilles. Kevin Durant literally said the same thing. He's like, my calf muscle is just so much less strong on my Achilles side because I didn't do anything on it for 4 months. Well, McCaffrey was just slowly kind of just keeping it warm, right? He never fully tore anything. Look, I'm not saying reach on him if you have the 6th, 7th, 8th pick even, but if he's falling to mid-second, you better.
Oh yeah, if he's mid-second, you take the wild card.
Because you should have taken an RB first. Like if you're taking McCaffrey second, you should at least, to Zoo's point earlier, have a backup plan.
And if you take Christian McCaffrey, handcuff him.
Yep, Garendo.
Please handcuff him because last year, if you didn't handcuff him, shame on you because everybody knew who the handcuff was, aka Jordan Mason, and he was awesome.
And then Garendo.
Awesome. You could have advanced in the playoffs just because of that one guy. Because like everybody knew he was the definitive backup, and he was surprisingly very, very good. Like he was a very productive player, and he was putting up RB1 numbers. So if you're gonna take McCaffrey, reach on his handcuff. I think it's Garendo or whoever it is. This situation like plays out.
You can get him in like the 12th round. You're not missing that much.
Whatever his ADP is, reach around, reach 2 rounds maybe if you have McCaffrey, because this is buying insurance on that 49ers running back position. Because if he's out for a decent amount of games, you're kind of screwed.
Well, if you can do that, Zoo, then why not take McCaffrey?
That's
You're playing the upside and knowing that the running back who's behind him is still.
I would feel a little better with Jordan Mason. Garendo, I'm not as confident in.
That's fair.
As Mason, Jordan Mason just looks like a lot better back than Garendo.
Like I don't know. I don't see like when Saquon got hurt in New York. I can't remember what his injury was. I don't know how serious his injury was, but
it wasn't as serious as McCaffrey's.
That's what it's McCaffrey. That's what it is. It's like I don't know what Saquon's was, but I just don't envision, and I could be totally wrong. I just don't envision like how, and I know the Eagles have an elite offensive line, but the 49ers are not chopped liver. They're really good too. I just don't. Do you see Christian McCaffrey having a Saquon type year? I don't.
No, but I mean, I'm not. But that's ridiculous.
Or even close to that. I don't think he could get close. Yeah, it's his. I should say Saquon, but close to that, I don't think he can get close to that.
Could he get 14?
I just think he's going downhill.
12 touchdowns, probably.
I don't see that. I don't.
Well, Ayuk's not going to play.
And that's another thing.
Juwan Jennings is probably.
They haven't paid Juwan Jennings yet, and I mean, he's probably going to play for them. But it's like Ayuk's coming off injury. Like Brock Purdy's better. Like and then I know I'm not trying to get into a Brock Purdy debate, but he's going to have to carry to make CMC be good. Like he got to show up, because if he's not, they're going to key in on Saquon, or not Saquon, but Christian, and that's lights out. So I don't know. I think to your point, I'm not drafting him if I'm just say, I see him in the middle of the second round, I'm not going to draft him. Yes, of course, because of the upside, but I'm not reaching. And I anticipate just of people, at least I play with, they're going to reach on him because of just the name. It's the same thing people were doing.
You think people are going to take him in the top 5?
And even with the mocks, people have been reaching on him with the mocks. Like there's been times, like if I go back to that ADP list, like I've seen people, for instance, him and A-Chain are right beside each other. I've seen people reach over, like people take McCaffrey over those A-Chain and Genty, and I don't think that's smart.
That's how ESPN has it.
But I think that's name too. But I don't know. Yeah, middle of the second round, like Zeus said, that's where I'd be comfortable taking them. But if it's like a turn or whatever, like I don't know. But obviously, McCaffrey doesn't. He's not going to be in this next conversation about fading guys. That's for sure. He's not a fade candidate. No, he's not a fade candidate. But who are some of the guys that you guys are fading in the running back room? And people, you can go ahead and handle this one.
Couple right here, man. And it's all got to do with Zoo's favorite term in sports, man. Regression to the mean. Josh Jacobs and James Cook. I'm not saying they're bad players. I think they will be quality fantasy starters, man. But you're talking about 18 touchdowns and 16 touchdowns, respectively, from these two dudes. Now, James Cook, You could argue he's actually fallen in a decent amount of mock drafts, even into like the late third round. I've seen him fall to. If you want to take James Cook there, I think that's fine. But if he's going early third or at the second turn, end of the second, very early third, I think you go with. I honestly, if I'm in that situation, boys, I'm reaching and taking Josh Allen by far. If you give me Kyron Williams, James Cook, the only one that I would consider is if Drake London's there. I know we'll talk wide receivers next week, but like there's a couple guys, and then it gets into this really ugly like Trey McBride, Joe Mixon, the kind of those that hosh posh. And I'm reaching on Josh Allen. So James Cook, man, great player. You're solid, man. And he is in a contract year, so that would be an interesting thing to watch. But same thing with Josh Jacobs. They drafted Matthew Golden. I think they're trying to shift to Jordan Love, bit more pass first offense. Not run Josh Jacobs into the ground, because if they want to make a playoff push, he has to be healthy enough to actually give them quality running attack if they were to make the playoffs in a very tough division. But I think Zhu, he was the entire team. He's the only reason they stayed above 500 last year was Josh Jacobs. He carried that franchise. Jordan Love injured, being a bum here and there. You got wide receivers dropping balls. Christian Watson staying injured yet again. I think they're shifting a little bit more to let's see if we can trust Jordan, and if not, we know we still have Josh Jacobs in our back pocket. I just don't think he reached 16 touchdowns again. And you could say, hey man, he might get 12. That's a great season. Sure, I agree with you, but you're picking him at 19. I don't know about that.
Yeah, nice. Because you're just in that sweet range right there. Like I'm gonna pick another guy in that range right there. I'm pretty surprised you said Josh Jacobs. Not as surprised about James Cook, because James Cook just got an absurd amount of touchdowns last year.
And Jacobs is getting older too. Yeah. That's the other thing, something could happen. You never know.
For sure. Yeah. For me, I don't know. It's just because the bias of last year's ADP, but I'm going with Bucky Irving at this 20th overall pick. I'm like, I know Bucky Irving had a phenomenal rookie season. He took the job from Rachaad White. Like I told you guys, I was never a Rachaad White guy last year. I remember he was going around like the 30th pick. Some people took him high in like the mid-20s. So people are really high on Rachaad White, kind of like the same year as Bucky Irving. I'm like, Bucky Irving is a prospect. He was not an elite prospect. This guy was I believe, like a 4th-round pick. Like he was
good for running back. That's solid.
Good, but he wasn't like a blue chipper. Like when you take a guy in the 20th, like this guy's like, oh, this guy's a special player, right? Like if you see most of the running backs, they're round 1 running backs.
Yeah.
These are guys these are historically like great running backs when you're a top 20 pick in fantasy football.
Very true.
And you got Bucky Irving in there after 1 year where he was awesome. But I'm just saying, this whole thing with the Buccaneers, they just had an awesome offensive year. Like Baker Mayfield had one of the greatest seasons of his career. Baker Mayfield, I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he was that good compared to last year. So I think, as you mentioned, regression to the mean for the Bake Show. Like Bake Show last year was just playing out of his mind. Like he was awesome. He was running the ball. He was moving the chains. So their offense was actually giving them lots of red zone opportunities to score the football. And Bucky Irving obviously took advantage. But I feel like White is still there too though.
Yeah, right? I agree.
White is still on the roster. And I kind of just had these guys. They're both like middling, like solid running backs. They can both catch the football. They're not like true like 3-down backs. And if you're looking at that situation where I'm looking at Bucky Irving the 20th, and I'm looking at the players around him, and right now based on ADPs, you got transcendent quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and you got transcendent tight end and Brock Bowers, who had one of those. He was drafted as an 8-1 prospect, Brock Bowers, and then you got studs like Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, and these guys. So these are the guys going around him, and Kyron Williams. And he's just a Sean McVay product. Like Sean McVay just produces fantasy guys. So you see Bucky Irving on there, you just look at him like, hey, it just doesn't really fit the criteria for me. Because if you got Bucky Irving as your 2021 pick, that's your second pick, I'm gonna have some question marks about your team right there. Because I think he's a good player. I'm not gonna say he's a great player. I think he's a good, solid player. But that offense, if I'm gonna double down that top Tampa Bay team again this year, I don't think so. Like it's gonna be, I think, a borderline 500 football team. So for me personally, as great of an offense as last year, because last year they were amazing. Like even with Chris Godwin, they were a very elite offense last year. So repeating that much production, where put Bucky Irving in his red zone opportunities, and he was able to cash in. I don't believe so. I'm not going to bet that for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense this year.
I will say, if you have the first overall pick in the draft and you
Yeah.
take Bijan over Jamar, let's just say,
Yeah.
and at the 2-3 turn, you're taking Bucky Irving and Drake London, I'm not mad at that. Because you know you have Bijan Robinson. Like, if you take Bucky Irving as your RB2, which that's the only
totally
situation
fine for
that
me,
you can get him, is if you have a 101, right? You take Bijan or you take Gibbs or Saquon, whichever one you want to take over the two top wide receivers. You could take Bucky as your RB2, and I'm not mad at that. But I think it's the people that are taking like wide receiver early, and then they're taking Bucky
Irving
1-2.
It's like your RB1.
As your RB1.
I don't know about that. And so I mean, it's once again situational, depends on your pick. But I think if you can make him your RB2, he's quality, but he will still not reach, I think, the heights that he had last year. I agree with you, Zoo. But I still think he'd be productive for your team as an RB2.
Yeah, but at the 20th pick, that's asking for 1,300 yards and like 12 touchdowns, man. That's what it's asking for. At the 20th, like you're first 2-round pick guy. So that's your ADP RB. Right there. That's your ADP right there. There's no, you're a late pick, you're a cute pick, you're a waiver pick, and he was producing. Now you're a blue chipper if you're going that early. And I'm not going to bet my money on that for sure.
Yeah.
So I will based on his ADP, 0 shares for me this year.
I think you said this a couple weeks ago, Zoo, so that's why I left him to you, because he's third on my list after James Cook, Josh Jacobs, and then Bucky.
Yeah. Fading him.
Yeah, Bucky's definitely getting drafted higher. I mean, for me, I'm kind of off Aaron Jones, like, because he's in that same range with Amari and Hampton. And like, I was just looking at, I just hit my mic, but I was just looking at guys like the ADP around there. To Zoo's point, I'd way rather have Amari and Hampton, way rather have Chuba Hubbard. Listen, I've been wrong about James Conner so much that it's like I would have to take him over Aaron Jones. I definitely want David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift. We just talked about RJ Harvey before the pod. Like, he has the potential to be the RB1 in Denver. And then you're getting into the range of like, I think I'd probably take Aaron over JK. But even still, like Travion Henderson, I might almost want to take a shot. Like, if I'm getting Aaron Jones as like an RB2 or flex, like I would rather have Travion. And then you get a Tony Pollard. I mean, even Isaiah Pacheco, like, I know he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the volume. And I know he's coming off injury, but I think he's really going to get volume considering, like, okay, you got Hollywood Brown coming back. You got Xavier Worthy. I'm not buying the hype on Xavier Worthy yet. I like Hollywood Brown, but Patrick, I think in them first couple of games where Rasheed is not there, he's going to be leaning on the running game. And they kind of already have done that in cadence. Like, Patrick Mahomes ain't really been the guy where it's like, oh, he's throwing for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. Like, he's not really doing that anymore. So I'd rather have them. So just going after all those guys, I think that's a reason why I would kind of maybe cool it on Aaron Jones, because he kind of feels like an RB3. And two, we just talked about Jordan Mason. Like, I don't think last year what he did was a fluke. No. And I think Minnesota got him. It's like, oh, we're going to use this as like, hey, you're going to come in and spell Aaron Jones, And I think they're going to also rely more on a 2-back system with J.J. McCarthy kind of at least starting out because he's brand new. But, yeah, I'm just not cool on Aaron Jones. Not really thinking he's going to be a guy who's going to like, oh, he's a top 15. I think last year he finished in the top 16, 15, but I don't think he's like going to be in that range again.
Saved me.
And I'm staying the hell away from the Titans backfield. I don't know who's going to start and who's going to do what. I don't know.
I'm fine taking Tajay. Just like you don't take Tony Pollard, but you take Tajay for your bench.
But like Taj and Tony, it's like I don't know who they like want to be RB1. I know Tony's going to probably start, but like it was so much hype with Taj last year. Like, oh, they drafted him because he's got the bell cow type fit and all that, and it was kind of just a mixed match of running back. So I just don't know who's going to take over there. So I just wouldn't even. I mean, you could, if I had to pick, it'd be Taj, but I would stay away from it because I just don't know who's going to bust. Because also too, I don't know who's going to fit the best with Cam Ward. So Cam Ward, in terms of how he likes running backs and how he maybe would like throw the backs out the field or however he likes his style of back, is going to determine who gets the rock there. So those are two guys, or a situation and a guy that I'm just not high on. Really quick though, you guys talking about Bucky, like Tampa Bay's offense was really good last year. And we just talked about who would you rather have, Chase Brown or Bucky Irvin? Because I think they both equally could be RB2s that could be RB1.
I think that's the thing. Chase Brown is going 10 picks later right now.
10
10
picks.
plus. So I'm like, they're kind of in the similar category.
I think but but the thing is, yes, you value Chase, but I think Bucky could be an RB1 faster than Chase.
Chase has a rookie as his like the Bucks like Rashad White. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
They do. They
Hey,
like
Zach
him in
Moss is coming back
passing.
from
He
neck
gets a lot
injury.
of volume for some reason. Like target
Zach Moss
receiving
is coming
yards
back
and
from
rushing.
neck
No,
injury.
dude, they have Taj Brooks. He's a 6th-round rookie RB.
I don't
He's the
know who that
backup to him. Chase Brown has zero competition in a pass-first offense where he's one of the best pass-catching backs in the league. And to Zoo's point,
I think the offenses
in
are
ESPN
similar.
Zoo, it's
even
18th
though
and 31st on ESPN's draft
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
those two dudes.
Yeah.
there is more value with Chase
between
Brown.
Chase. Yeah.
For sure. Like, and I'm looking at it too. Like, there is way more value with Chase. I just think, I don't know, Bucky, I think,
They're the
and it's
same
not
caliber of player.
I
Yeah,
think
agree.
Bucky's a little
Yeah.
bit more.
It's just that Bucky's, for some reason, they just inflated his value a ton. When Chase Brown, I think he had less yardage, but he was right up there with him, if not more touchdowns.
Yeah, when he took the job, he was
Yeah, when he took the job
kind of
over.
an RB1 when he took the job over, but
He was RB10 overall.
Moss in the beginning of the year. So
He was RB10 overall.
I mean, hell, I wouldn't be. It would never happen, but I wouldn't be mad if you ended up getting both. But that's not going to happen. But I would like. They're both like the guys where
Those
even
are
if you
not-
like traded for one of them, like if you could trade for one like early in the season and like have like a name guy like trade for Bucky or Chase and be like, oh, I got 2 RB2s who could be RB1s, because those are the only 2 guys that I see like rising from RB2. Like, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it's close to a guarantee of like, oh, it's not shocking. It's the same thing I was talking about with A-Chain. It's like if I'm having a great Sunday afternoon, I'm not watching football and I'm just out chilling somewhere, and I look at my phone, I would not be shocked if I saw A-Chain. It was the third quarter and he had 39 points. I'd be like, oh, shit, he's going off. I wouldn't be like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
No, because he has that potential. It's the same
has
thing
that
with Chase and
upside.
Bucky. Like, they both have, I think, out of that, their perceived RB2s, they could definitely make the jump. I think they both have that ability. I don't think it's like,
It's just that Bucky's baked in.
yeah.
They're expecting Bucky.
And their offenses are similar.
Yeah.
So, you know, the only thing you can maybe look at is like Bucky. I think Bucky's like, he's kind of slender too. He's like 5'8", what? I don't know his
telling
build,
you.
but he's not he's not like a bell cow. Chase has
hope
got a little
people-
bit more of an RB1 build.
I hope people fade Kenneth Walker, man. I really hope they do.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Because the
I feel
quarterback
like just 'cause of
and all that, yeah.
in the injuries too. I just feel like
He's been
Kenneth
injured a
Walker,
lot.
when he always plays, he's always kind of awesome. Like he always puts up numbers, and then he gets banged up again. And then he
But
misses a
to-
couple games. But then
But to
he
your
comes
point,
back,
too,
he's good.
take Charbonnet.
Yeah, the Sharpie. Yeah, you got to take Sharpie because he's
Like
very.
you can get him in the 10th round. Like, you're taking
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker in the 4th. You probably have an RB1 stud.
Yep.
I'm totally fine taking an early handcuff to protect your RB2. That is not a bad draft strategy.
Speaking of handcuffs, and I think you guys kind of already answered this because we talked about Buffalo. Which handcuff would you like more? Like in terms of like you got to get a handcuff, and it's like I think this handcuff could actually be a RB2 or whatever. Benson, Allen, or Davis, and Braylon Allen for New York.
Davis.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right, you're talking Ray
Yeah.
Davis, right?
Yeah.
Damn. I,
See,
I'll
I'm kind of
that
Go ahead.
offense is just productive because of Josh Allen and that whole offensive line.
Yeah, but that's also why I don't want Ray Davis.
But I think you get the dink and dunks. That's the thing. He's a really good receiving back.
He
Where
is a
gets
good
those
receiving
little
back.
cheap little, like he ain't
But the
obviously
touchdowns.
ain't gonna be the bruiser, right? Because like
But
he's
the
just a smaller
touchdowns.
running back, but those cheap little Alvin Kamara catches, and he has that ability where he catches the ball and he can run for like 40 yards. So like, and you know that offense just scores. Like
Yeah.
that's the
I
problem.
probably
They don't,
would
have
take
any,
Ray.
they don't have any receivers. Like who are the receivers?
Keon and Shakir, yeah.
Exactly.
You're
And
right.
you're talking about like
Dalton
touchdown
Kincaid.
ability. Like it was a lot running back situation and Josh Allen. So like
I would say,
I know with Davis as the handcuff.
honestly, out of all the starters between those dudes, I would not be surprised if Brees Hall has the best season of all 3 of those starters between Connor Cook and Brees Hall. I know there's a reason Zoo didn't talk Brees
Brees has
Hall.
got the pedigree, dude.
Brees Hall is
he's got
his
the
ADP
pedigree.
is solid. It's tasty. That's all I got to
So,
say. He's going
I just-
a little later. than
So
I
to
thought.
answer your question, Sean, I just feel like Braylon Allen might not see the field as much as people.
I think Braylon Allen.
but he's
I
good.
think Braylon Allen's gonna get maybe more because everybody's running. I think with the comments of the coach saying it's gonna be by committee, but coaches just be saying crap because he's new and he's just trying to involve everybody. Like
Gotta gas up the guys.
Hall's going to be the bell cow. And if he's not, I would be shocked.
And Fields is going to run too. So where's Braylon Allen into this?
Yeah.
He's not a god at receiver.
Now, he's talented. He's talented for sure. And if I had to pick in terms of guys who's played since last year, like Allen was actually getting carries last year. So I think that's why people are high on him. But skill set wise, Connor, that train ride's going to end eventually.
Trey Benson.
I think Benson has the most explosion out of all the backups. Like he was 4'3", 6'2". He was 6 foot, 6'1", 215. Like we talk about prototypical build. Like I think he could be a huge bell cow for Arizona. It's just, with Connor, and maybe it's personal to me because I just kept skipping on because I just think he's gonna get injured because he's getting so many carries, but he just doesn't get injured. And if he does, it's not for like a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. This is interesting because there is, and I just chose those three because those are the backs in front of them are really good. But it's like there's a lot of handcuffs where it's like it could some handcuffs, especially rookies, could win you. Like it's going to be interesting in Cleveland and in New England. Like Ramondre is probably going to be the starter, and then Cleveland more than likely is probably going to be Quentin Sean. But it's like, dude, if you maybe just take a dart throw with Dylan Sampson at the end of the last pick of your draft. You never know because he's another guy that's like got A-chain ability. Like he's super small back, can catch, explosive.
I know RJ Harvey. You were talking. I think you like RJ Harvey, Sean. But
yeah, I like him too. Yeah,
dude, Dobbins is going like undrafted.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I don't think he should go undrafted. That's crazy.
I don't think you should draft him. But if you have like,
I take a dart at the end.
The draft and you're short on RB, I'm not mad at you taking him as your last pick in your draft. I don't think that's
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because also too is
he loves his committees. Sean Payton loves.
Yeah, and we don't. To Zoo's point, like we don't know. RJ Harvey is good, but like we don't know rookie running back wise. Like there's only like Hampton and Junkins are only ones that I constantly keep seeing when I draft and hearing like these guys. If whenever they start playing, they're going to be RB, the first running back. The rest of the guys, it's like situation. Because it kind of reminded me like Brees. Everybody knew Brees was good as hell, but what was going on? Michael Carter and all the other guys were like a bunch of carries, and it was kind of like and then Brees got hurt obviously that year, but like when he finally got on the field and broke out, he was good. But that was in like I don't know what week that was. That was later in the season, so you just never know how coaches are going to treat the running back. So you kind of always got to be mindful of that. So, but there are there's. I feel like with all these running backs, there's a lot of potential, and there's a lot of guys that can fall flat. So I don't know.
It's gonna be a tough RB draft.
I'm looking at the 30s and 40s, man. There's a lot of names there. I'm like, this is really, really hard decision. As you mentioned, Brees Hall in the 4th round.
Brees Hall, Amari, and Hampton.
Yeah, I'm looking at. That is.
If you got that,
no, they're like right around each other. So
you're
talking about their ADP.
Their ADPs around each other, and I feel like both the guys have really high upside. So
you don't think there's a possibility? Because I think Hampton's going to go second. I think he's going to go second.
I don't know about that. Second round.
I think I'm maybe thinking like I think at 12 and up, 12 and up leads. I think he could go late second. Because
late second would be a 10 spot reach. Late second in a 14 team.
Let me ask you,
10 spot reach.
If you're looking. Okay, if I'm going back to these ADPs, and I promise if you're watching, when you eventually watch this, we're going to end this. But like, just looking at where like Hampton, like I just talked about Chuba. I probably would feel more comfortable with Chuba, but like Kenneth Walker injury, like Alvin Kamara's another guy. Like love him to death, and he's probably going to be consistent. But like the quarterback situation sucks, and he's 30. I would rather have Omarion Hampton than James Cook. Definitely would rather have him than Brees Hall. Now, Chase Brown, it's going to be hard for me to not want to pick Chase Brown. And then once you get like Jonathan Taylor, but even a guy like Kyron Williams, like he's obviously a bell cow. But like,
you need who?
Sean McVay acts weird with his running backs. Like if he has 1 or 2 bad weeks, he just likes to go to another guy. He does that. So like it's a little. I feel Kyron is a guy, but like he's a little volatile in that. John Harbaugh, I know for a fact he is.
Ride him.
Once Marion gets seated in there, it's gonna 20, 25, 30. Like that's what he wants to do because obviously he has Justin Herbert, but like that's not his style. He likes to run the football.
And
Like,
the concern last year was Gus Edwards taking from Dobbins, right? And it was early until Dobbins broke out, and then it was Dobbins. That's how I'm. But
that's JK.
Najee's just giving him a head start.
Yeah, Najee's pretty much the Gus bus, man. Slow, big, strong guy.
And here's the thing: Najee might steal touchdowns. I think we do have to be honest about
that. Would be the only thing.
Najee could steal touchdowns.
From and two, Omarion's got a lot of good favor because. And I'm not a UNC fan, but like he has the UNC pedigree because another guy that came from UNC was Javonte Williams. And when he came to Denver, he was like all rookie. He was another explosive back. So he kind of has that working for him too. Like UNC backs usually come in and they're pretty good. Like Michael Carter Williams or not Michael. Yeah, Michael Carter Williams. Thinking about the point guard for the 76ers. But like, and the Bulls. But yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, he was kind of had a moment where he was never like an RB1, but he could come in and spell some guys. So I'm like him and Quinchon are guys who I would reach on, is basically my point. So I don't know. We'll see. I do think once you get into the middle rounds, you're going to be faced with, do I want to take this tantalizing rookie or do I want to take this RB 3-ish, 2-ish guy? So I don't know. It's going to be up to you and your draft board to make the right decision because, it's all going to vary. So, I think this discussion was really good in terms of just giving guys people a lot of options of, hey, these are backs that we want to stay away from. These are backs that we like. Next week, we're going to be definitely diving into receivers and get more into the nuances of who are those receiver 1s, receiver 2s, maybe some receiver 3s, things like that. Make sure you guys are tuned into our Instagram, Picking Downs Podcast. Make sure Tyson Talks _ for the Instagram, YouTube Quantro Knows. Make sure you're also tuned into us on Spotify and Apple. I'm posting on Apple and Spotify, so make sure you guys are giving us a thumbs up, 5-star review. Also, again, Tyson Talks on TikTok as well. And for me, Zhu, and P. Bush, we are